EGH Paranormal show. Sorry, we had a lot of technical issues last week. We did really try and get it working, but it wasn't working from my end, and it certainly didn't work from Russell's end either. So, if you can just confirm that you can see and hear me, been a pretty busy week, but we've had some strange whisperings going on this feed tonight, and really, really weird. I take it that I am live on channel because I'm getting notifications everywhere. But yeah, I hope everybody's had a good week. It's been pretty busy again, and seem to have lost my echo, which is really good. I like that because I can't hear myself. So if you could just let me know that you can see and hear me, please. Anybody in the chat? Anybody in the chat? That'd be good. Kim, brilliant. Thank you. Deborah. Kim, I might have a task for you tonight. Hi, Steph. But I'll talk to you in a minute. But I think I've got a task about a guest, if you can. And this will be really good if we can get it. Actually, there's two guests, but I'll let you know in a minute after we've talked about a subject.
I'm here.
He's here, but we've had a whispering, and it was calling out. So if you do hear any whisperings, I don't know what's going on the air tonight. Cheers, Sandra. Cheeky comment earlier about how done in Bob Minjow.
Very loud.
I'll message you, Kim.
Very loud.
Hi, Heidi.
Who's in the chat?
Oh, lots, mate.
Sound
Lots.
Right. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 2 2 2 2 2. Right. Are we all ready? Everyone in the chat, are we ready?
Good.
Let's go domino. Oh.
Supernatural activity and return forthwith to your place of origin or to the nearest convenient parallel dimension.
Whoa. Just hold up 1 minute there. It's not who you're gonna call, but it's who you're gonna listen to. And if you ain't afraid of no ghost, stay tuned for the EGH Paranormal Talk Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the EGH Paranormal Talk Show, live and exclusive on Pulse Talk Radio. It is Friday, the 28th of April 2023, and I am your wonderful one half of your deadly duo tonight, Mr. Russell Old, and my other half is Mr. Simon Cardy. Welcome, Simon.
Oh, yeah. You all right?
I am all good in the hood. Right, we've just got to make one announcement, okay, guys? This could end at any point, okay? This could take us off air at any point. We could just go. Simon could be left. I could be left. If any of you listened to my show last night on Journey Through the Unexplained, we had so many technical difficulties. It was unbearable. Poor old Paul was left to man the ship for
I missed it.
A good few while, and it ended at 9:30 last night because we just couldn't get any connection back. So please, guys, if it does go a bit Pete Tong, we will obviously, you'll see the updates as we go along, but just steady the ship. We hope it doesn't go off air, but there's a good chance it will do if anything happens tonight, or unless it was just the deep state that was trying to kick us out. But no, welcome everybody to the show. Hope you've all had a good week. Let's see what we've got in the chat. We've got Kim in the chat. We've got Deborah Pitt in the chat. Steph Coulson in the chat. Sandra in the chat. Lovely Heidi Hansen all the way from Denmark is in the chat. Scott Pollandine is in the chat, and Dave Smith in the chat. Put your name in, and if you want to call out, just let us know. I do believe that Dave is at Brentwood Market this weekend, so if you want to pop down and see him, you live in the Brentwood area, please pop down and see him at the Wizard Caves, I think, this weekend. So pop down and see him. You can come and see us as well, because we're not too far from Brentwood, so you can do two for the price of one on your day out. Just to let you know, we are also open on Bank Holiday Monday as well this week, and we will be open next Bank Holiday Monday as well. Okay, for all if you want to get a reading booked in or anything like that. I think next Monday we have a coronation special. So if you have a reading or a healing, it'll be £20 instead of £25. So get yourself booked in next Monday only, guys. It's only next Monday, the coronation special. All right,
can have a Camilla healing if you want.
A Camilla healing. That's a bit of a weird one if you've ever heard of it. Because I don't know if Jim is watching, or Jim is in the chat, but Jim does like a Camilla ice cream.
He does like a Camilla ice cream, yes.
So that'll be next Monday, guys. So if you would like a reading or some spiritual healing, Reiki, anything like that, please, if you contact us on info@essexghosthunters.co.uk, that'll put us through, and we'll get you booked in as soon as we can. That's all available, but we've also got availability. We've only got about 2 slots available tomorrow, haven't we?
Yes.
And they're both in the morning. All right, guys. So
we've got one in the morning before 11 o'clock, and then I think we've got one in the afternoon after 3 o'clock.
All right. So heal one crown on Coronations Day.
Yeah.
Yes, that's very, very good. I like that one. Heals one crown.
One crown. Yes.
That'd be your crown chakra.
It would be, yeah.
Yeah. Heal your crown chakra. So no, we'll be there all weekend. So please, there's no availability for Sunday, guys. So what was that? We've got so many comments coming in that people are saying that Joe's in the evening. Joe, Craig, what's that say? Was on a website today. Was amazing.
Website. Couldn't believe the depth of it. Yeah, nice. Thank you.
There you go. Would like to book. Craig, if you want to book, what time is the reading that's available? We have one
3 o'clock and 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock.
But that's tomorrow, isn't it?
Yes.
What
Monday.
Monday's all day. Monday, yeah. We've got no bookings for Monday. So Monday, you can just let us know what time if you want to book in. Yeah, not a problem. All right. So that's it. But if you just give us a message on info@essexghosthunters.co.uk, and we'll get you booked in. Okay. Could I book for 10 tomorrow? Yes, I think you can.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Yes. You sure can.
Right.
All right. The address is there. If you want to, obviously it'd be at the shop, or is it a Zoom one that you would want? I can do both, even if we're from the shop. I've got things coming in now. I've got everything beeping at me. So I don't know if that's the info coming through or not. No, it could be anything. But yeah, no, I do. Do I need to text you, Russ? Rather come to the shop. Absolutely fine, Craig.
Come to the shop at 10.
Yeah, come to the shop at 10. We'll blonk that out for you, and then we'll have a face-to-face reading. All right.
Cool.
And then go for that. That normally lasts for around about 40 to 45 minutes. All right. So come in tomorrow and see us. All right, Craig.
Brilliant.
There, you got the address there. You're going along the bottom of the screen. If you see the bottom, it come up any minute now along the bottom of the screen. Don't ring that number because that's there. So it's www.cyrus.co.uk, or visit the shop is at White Elm Garden Centre, Essex, CM3 4LR. Okay, CM3 4LR. Okay, so I'll see you in the morning, Craig. All right, Simon's booked you in
Yeah, you're in.
for tomorrow morning. All right. Right, so tonight's show, okay, we haven't really got anything really to talk about, to be fair. We're going to talk about the bunker because we was at the secret nuclear bunker
Yeah.
a few weeks ago. So we're going to catch up with sort of what our events was there. But Simon, you just before the show started, you said you'd been watching a film.
Yeah, I couldn't find anything to watch the other day, and I thought I'd put it on for Carol because it's really going to interest Carol, isn't it? But I watched. I don't know if anybody's seen it, and it's called. It's another one of these conjurings, but it's The Devil Made Me Do It, and it's about Arnie Johnson. And it was the first case. It was Ed and Lorraine Warren again. I don't know if anybody's seen the film. And I'm going to do a little bit of research into it now because, you see the Hollywood effect here. That's obviously what I've got in my mind as well. But this actually was the first case of its kind in, I think it was 1981, that it went to court that he was possessed by the devil. And this made him do it. And if you go by the film, what happened was it was demonic trying to affect a little boy. And it kept getting to the little boy, and they called a priest in. They tried to exorcise it. The Warrens were called in, and it really attacked this little boy one night. And he went over the little boy, this Arnie Johnson, and said, "Stop affecting the boy. Stop affecting the boy. Let the devil come into me. So use me if you like." And obviously, it went on for a little while, and I think he was working for somebody. And it ended up with him slitting this person's throat and walking down the road. This is obviously it's a true story. And the Warrens went in, tried to deal with it. I think Ed Warren had a heart attack at the time, if I'm not mistaken. He was forced him to have a heart attack. It really affected her, but they actually went and represented him in court. Now, his girlfriend at the time of this stood by him. He went to jail. They exercised him in jail. Lorraine Warren took it away. It was all very Hollywood effect at the end, but if it was anything to go by, my God, what a story. And they took it away, and he got 5 years for manslaughter in the end. So it really did, sort of set a precedent. He only got 5 years for manslaughter, and that's for taking a life. But the thing is, the girl married him, and they're still married to this day.
So right, I'm a little bit lost in because there was a mention of a little child there, wasn't there?
Little child. The demons were trying to get into the little child. That's how the story started. Yeah. Right. So the demonic force was trying to get into the child. So Arnie Johnson was like, I don't know if it was his brother or it might have been the sister's, it might have been his girlfriend's brother, but he went over the child and said, "Stop doing it to the boy, stop doing it to the boy, take me, take me." And the demonic forces went into him.
Right. So he
this Arnie Johnson.
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah. So he's invited the spirit onto him.
He's invited the force into him rather than to leave the boy alone.
That's very noble of the gentleman, to be fair.
This guy, the way they portrayed the guy was that he was a gentle guy. And as I say, I've only watched this film, and now Steph's just put in the comments there's a documentary on it on Discovery. It's brilliant. I'll get watching that as well. But the story is absolutely brilliant. Yeah,
he
Joe.
Sacrificed himself over the boy.
Yes. And the demonic got into him, and he was in prison, and they brought a priest to the prison. I think it was Ed Warren was there at the time. And if it was anything to go by, if it wasn't the Hollywood effect, and that happened to him in the prison, he was contorting his body. It was awful, really awful.
So here's what I do is I just I've got the obviously very brief Wikipedia page, you know, I'll quote Wikipedia here for you guys, all right? So let's just give you a little breakdown of it. The trial of Arnie Chenane Johnson, also known as the Devil Made Me Do It case, is the first known court case in the United States in which the defence sought to prove innocence based on a claim of demonic possession. The denial of personal responsibility for a crime on November the 24th, 1981 in Connecticut. Arnie was convicted on first-degree manslaughter for killing his landlord, Alan Bono. According to the testimony by the Gletzel family, 11-year-old David Gletzel already had played host to a demon. After witnessing a number of increasingly ominous occurrences involved David, his family, exhausted, the terrified, decided to enlist the aid of Ed and Lorraine Warren. In the last-ditch efforts to cure the child, the Glitzel family, along with the Warrens, then proceeded to have multiple priests, the Catholic Church, to have formed exorcisms on David. The process continued for 7 days, concluding when, according to those present, a demon fled the child's body and took up residence with Johnson. These events were documented in a book, The Devil in Connecticut. Several months later, Johnson killed his landlord during a party. His defense lawyer argued in court that he was possessed by but the judge ruled that such degree could never be proven and therefore invisible in court of law. Johnson was subsequently convicted, though he served only 5 years of his 22-year sentence. The trial attracted media attention, blah, blah, blah. It's quite an amazing...
Yeah. And I mean, I haven't seen the documentary. All I've seen is the Hollywood film. So I need to see that documentary, really. That's really what I need to look at and probably read a bit on it. But, yeah, it just got me to thinking, you know, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think it can happen?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I don't quite know in what circumstances that would be, and how and why that would work. I don't know. I don't know.
No.
I'm a little bit... I'd be very confused with... If the demon is getting... By going by the reports of this case, it was after several days for it to flee.
Yeah.
So...
I don't think it fled.
No, it didn't. It said it took up residence with Johnson.
Yes.
But where was Johnson in this... In
jail.
No. But I'm lost here because the background. Let's have a look.
He killed his landlord.
Yeah,
he killed his landlord several days later, I think, after taking the demon into... asking for the demon to come into him.
But is what I'm saying is at no point is there a link between the child and Johnson.
Yeah. I think it's his now girlfriend's or wife's brother.
It doesn't say that.
All right, okay.
I'm not. This is what I'm saying. I've got to try and find. Let's read the background of the case. All right. So let's read the background of the case. Arnie Johnson and Debbie Glitzel provided first-hand accounts of the version of events duplicated in, obviously, it's on the Discovery Channel's A Haunting episode where demons dwell. Okay, they said their father was an eyewitness to a demonic possession. Both Johnson and Debbie were adamant in their support of the Warrens' recollection of events. They asserted the paranormal activity began after they went to clean up the rental property they had just acquired. David relocated that the old man appeared. Hold on. No. Support of where I've lost my self-possession. Just acquired. David relocated and an old man pushing and terrified him. The couple initially thought David was using the old man as an excuse to avoid cleaning, but David informed them that the old man had vowed to harm Glitzels if they moved into the rental home. David's version of the old man included a man appearing in demonic beast who muttered Latin and threatened to steal his soul. Although the family alleged he heard strange noises coming from the attic, no one but David ever witnessed the old man. After David experienced night terrors, exhibited strange behaviour and obtained unexplained scratches and bruises, the family called upon the service of a Catholic priest to attempt to bless the house. The terrified family concluded that the evil was no longer continued to rent it. David's visions worsened, occurring in daytime as well. 12 days after the original incident, the family summoned the self-proclaimed demonologist Ed and Lorraine Warren to assist. Lorraine alleged witness a black mist materialising next to David, an apparent indication of malevolent presence. Debbie and her mother told the Warrens that they had seen David being beaten and choked by the invisible hands of a red mask, and appeared on the neck after. David had started to growl, hiss, speak, and overworldly voices. The recessed passages of the Bible, the Poseidon Lost, the Glitzels encountered. Each night, a family member would remain awake with David as he suffered through spasms and convulsions.
That's it.
After receiving the prognosis of multiple possessions from the Warrens, David was subject to 3 lesser exorcisms. Lorraine assessed that David's levitated case, breathing from time to time, demonstrated the supernatural ability, specifically in the relation to the manslaughter. Johnson would later commit in October 1980 that the Warrens contacted Brookfield Police to warn them that a situation was becoming dangerous.
Yes.
According to the eyewitness testimonies, Arnie Johnson concerned one of the demons purportedly within David to possess him while participating in David's exorcism. Is in the haunting verse away from the circumstances of Johnson's possession as described by those involved. According to the show, a few days after Johnson egged the demon on during the exorcism, he was attacked rather viciously by the demon, which alleged took control of his car and forced him into a tree. But Johnson was unharmed after the accident. Johnson returned to the rental property to examine an old well that had supposedly housed the demon. It both dramatised versions in the personal account. Johnson said that the final encounter with the demon was completely lucid. After accounting the demon at the well and making eye contact with it, he became possessed. The Warrens claimed to have warned him not to do this, although their warning was not mentioned in the haunting. As David conditioned worse, further, Debbie and Johnson, who had been living in their mother's home, decided it was time to move. Debbie was hired by Alan Bono, the new resident in Brookfield, as a dog groomer. Debbie and Johnson began renting an apartment close to the place of employment. After moving in, Johnson started to exhibit odd behaviour. There was strikingly similar to David's, causing Debbie to fear that he'd become possessed and unwell. According to Debbie, Johnson would fall into a trance-like state wherein he would growl and hallucinate, but later have no memory of it.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think the boy was her brother. Yeah.
Johnson was the boyfriend to the boy's sister.
Yes, that's it.
All right. So, you know, Joe's already, obviously, Joe knows this. He tried to tip off the police.
Good.
Sorry, I was just reading it. I was just reading it out loud to you guys, because I think it sounds a really fascinating case.
It engrossed me for an hour and a half.
You know, welcome to everybody that's joined the chat. We've, for some strange reason tonight, guys, we have got a load of you watching in, locked and loaded in.
That's good.
So thank you for everybody that is joining. It must be a quiet night. You know, I thought it was payday tonight. Isn't it payday?
Yeah.
Normally we're on payday night. It's very quiet in the chat. But honestly, guys, please let us know your thoughts of this. This is David. Hi, guys. Why don't these sort of spirits affect us all?
Because your protection, I think. I think it's if you're protected, and children are susceptible to it because they haven't had it. Number one, probably beaten out of them. You know, there's no such things as ghosts. And for a demon or something to get onto the earth plane, it's going to be easier to get into a child, I would imagine.
I think that's got to be the entry point to it.
Yeah,
I do think this has got an entry point to it. I'm just going to go on to the killing, okay? So there's just a section of the killing, all right? Before we start, you know, picking this sort of case file apart, let's on February 16th, 1981, Johnson called in sick to his job at Wright's Tree Services. And joined Debbie at the kennel where she worked, along with his sister, Wanda, and Debbie's 9-year-old cousin, Mary. Bono, the couple's landlord and Debbie's employer at the kennels, brought the group lunch at a local bar and proceeded to drink heavily. After lunch, the group returned to the kennel. Debbie then took the girls to get pizza, but insisted they returned quickly, anticipating trouble. When they returned, Bono, intoxicated at this point, became agitated. Everyone left the room, and Debbie urging except Bono, who seized Mary and refused to let her go. Johnson headed back to the apartment and ordered Bono to release Mary. Wanda re-encountered following the events to the police. Mary ran for the car as Debbie attempted to mitigate the situation by standing between the two men. Wanda tried in vain to pull Johnson away. Johnson growled like an animal and threw a 5-inch pocket knife and stabbed it into Bono repeatedly. Bono died several hours later. According to Johnson's lawyer, Bono had suffered 4 or 5 tremendous wounds, most of his chest and the one that stretched from his stomach to the base of his heart. Johnson was discovered 2 miles from the site of the killing and was held in Bridgeport Correctional Centre on bail of $125,000. This was the first unlawful killing in the history of Brookfield, Connecticut.
There you go. And it's not that far back, is it? You're not talking. This is the 80s. It's not
bloodthirsty work.
Percy Russell, yeah.
But no, it's what makes me really interested within this sort of case file is that they was either very clever, okay, and they've used the situation regarding the boy. Okay, so let's look at both sides of the conundrum here.
The thing that I would say is that they would have been clever, and I could see that point if they hadn't been investigating it beforehand. The Warrens were there before all this happened. A priest was there before.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I think could be a potential part, and I'm not saying it is because I we're going to have a good talk about it. We'll really pick this apart and see where the listeners fall with it. But let's play devil's advocate with it, okay?
Yeah.
So we now know, for all intents and purposes, I am not necessarily questioning the boy's possession. Okay, I'm not questioning the boy's possession. Okay, no. If Ed and Lorraine Warren have come in, we know that children have a tendency to be able to communicate, see spirit, and then obviously sometimes it can get a tiny bit worse.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about, there's many case stories where children have become possessed, and things like that. So we've had the exorcisms and everything like that. Now, let's take the actual killing, okay? So let's take the actual killing. Have they used the story of that child to... Because, let's be fair, he's obviously got off it quite lightly with 5 years.
Yeah, but if he was sentenced to 25... I didn't realise he was sentenced to 25 and only served 5 because of public. Well, would it be public outcry? I don't know, Russ. I haven't seen the documentary. All I've seen is the film. If anybody's in the chat that's seen the documentary,
but this is what I'm saying. He could have quite easily used everything. He could have used everything, because I generally think if he didn't say he was possessed, he would have stood the 21 years of sentence.
Yeah, but he didn't have a record before.
No, he didn't. But what I was saying is we've got...
this is out of character. It's like me going out and doing it.
Yeah, but but we don't know his character. We don't know what his intoxicated state was. They've all been drinking. They're all in trouble. They're all. No,
I don't think he had been. No, I don't think he had been drinking. I think he'd actually been sent home from work.
No, he called the killing on February 81. Johnson called in sick to his job and joined Debbie at the kennels where she worked, along with his sister Wanda and Debbie's 9-year-old cousin. Bono, the couple's landlord, Debbie, the employers, and all the others, they went for a local bar lunch to proceed to drink heavily.
Right, okay.
After lunch, the group returned to the kennels. Okay, and this is what happened. It all turned a bit sour. When they returned, Bono, intoxicated at this point, became agitated.
So not him.
No, not him.
He was intoxicated. They're saying Bono, the person that got killed, was intoxicated. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But at this point, Bono has now held his sister in the apartment and wouldn't let her go.
Right. Yeah.
So Wanda tried to pull Johnson away. Johnson headed back to the apartment and ordered Bono to release Mary. He ordered her to, and he wouldn't let her go. So at this point now, we're in that agitated state of, if they've all had a drink, if they all have, we don't know the exact, it's very, very, they've all had a drink. We don't know what state he is. And then if he's killed someone and he was discovered down the road 2 miles away, how long that was, he's had time to think about what he's done, and then he's hit the I'm possessed thing. Now, that ties in with everything that's gone on. Has they used that at that point of ingenious? That's what I'm saying. Just playing devil's advocate.
No, because you'd have had, you've got the Warrens and the defence lawyer, but you would also have had a prosecutor lawyer who would have used your argument. So,
but that's what I'm saying. He still got convicted.
Quite possibly. That's what they're saying he did. But
if he didn't play that card, he would have served pretty much full time.
no, because they sentenced him full time.
Yes, but
That's
I
what I'm
think
saying to
because
you.
of the legal proceedings, the public backing, he's possessed. The Warrens getting involved. If that wasn't there, he would have served his time.
I don't know. I don't know. I haven't got enough knowledge to comment on that because I don't know. I don't know how he got off. I don't know why they let him out early. And I mean,
Well, we've got. I'd
Really?
like to say, I don't know what this is going to say, but we've got media reactions and legal proceedings. Okay, the day after the killing, Lorraine Warren informed Brockfield police that Johnson was possessed when the crime was committed. A media blitz soon surrounded the story, fueled in part by the Warrens, whose agents promised and lectured a book and a movie detailing the gruesome case in Where It Works. Johnson's lawyer received calls from all over the world about what was being called the Demon Murder Trial. Minella travelled to England to meet with the lawyers who had been involved in two similar cases, though neither went to trial. He planned to bring in exorcist specialists from Europe and threatened to subpoena the priest who oversaw David Glitzel's exorcism if they did not cooperate with the defence. The trial took place in Connecticut Superior Court of Danbury, beginning on October 28th, 81. Minella attempted to submit and plea of not guilty by virtue of possession, but the presiding judge, Robert Callahan, promptly rejected this defence. Callahan urged that no such defence could ever exist in the court of law due to the lack of evidence that would be irrelevant and unscientific, and allowed reality testimony. The defence call chose to imply that Johnson acted in self-defence. Because of this, the jury was not legally allowed to consider demonic possession as a verbal explanation of the killing. The jury deliberated for 15 hours over 3 days before convicting Johnson on the 24th of November of first-degree manslaughter on December 1881. He was sentenced to 20 years in prison.
Yeah.
He only served 5.
right. Okay. So he got the sentence. Absolutely, he got the sentence.
Well,
He only served 5, but he got given the sentence. So my question there would be then, anybody that's watched the documentary in the feed right now, yeah, what was this Arnie Johnson like? That's a good question. That's a question to put out there if anybody's watched the documentary, because yeah, I can see what you're saying about the Warrens and that, but Warrens were credible people, weren't they? I don't think,
they were at that time.
yeah, the guy had in this case, I think the guy Ed had a heart attack. Ed Warren had a heart attack in this while working in this particular case. I'm sure of it. I may be mistaken, but
That was probably the copious amount of cigarettes he'd smoked during the day. Evening, Jim. Welcome to the chat, matey.
But if anybody's watched that documentary, what was this guy like? And Kim, if you're still listening, can you get one of these on the show? Any chance of getting one of these on the show, even if it's a boy now, or they're still married? So I'd be really interested if we could get one of these people to come on the show, wouldn't it? That'd be a coup, wouldn't it?
They've done their book. They've written their book.
Well, so they probably might want to come on the show then.
Hold on, let's have a look here. Let's have the aftermath. The incident led to a creation of a television film, The Demon Murder, on NBC. The preparations for a feature film. The production was stalled due to internal conflicts in 1983. Gerald Brittle was the assistance of Lorraine Warren, published a book about the incident entitled "The Devil in Connecticut." Lorraine Warren stated the profits from the book were shared with the family. Sources confirmed that $2,000 was paid to the family by the book's publisher. Upon the book's republication in 2006 by Our Universe, David Glitzel and his brother Carl Glitzel Jr. sued the author of the book for violating their rights of privacy. The intentional infliction of emotional distress. Carl also claimed the book alleged he committed criminal and abusive acts against family and others. He said that the possession story was a hoax connected by Ed and Lorraine Warren to exploit the family's brother's mental illness, and that the book presented him as a villain because he did not believe in the supernatural claims. He asserted the Warrens to tell him that the story would make their family millions to get Johnson out of jail.
Right.
So I wouldn't... Kim, don't contact David and Carl Glitzel because I think
not the Glitzels. I want to speak to this Arnie Johnson.
Don't approach the Glitzels because obviously Glitzel's got a big beef with someone who potentially could have saved his life.
Yeah.
According to Carl Glitzel, the publication generated by Accidental Force. He dropped out of school, lost friends, business opportunity in 2007. He began writing the book titled Alone Through the Valley about his version of surrounding his brother. Lorraine Warren defended her work with the family, claiming that 6 priests who were involved in the incident agreed at the time that the boy was possessed and the supernatural events were described as real. No independent verification of this claim about the priests' alleged views was provided. Brittle, author of The Devil in Connecticut, she wrote the book because the family wanted the story told, and that the possession video of over 100 hours his interviews were signed off and the book was accurate at that and went to print. Glitzel's father, Carl Glitzel Sr., denied telling the author that his son was possessed. Johnson and Debbie, now married, wholeheartedly support the Warrens' account of demonic possession and have stated that the Glitzels in question are suing simply for monetary purposes. The event inspired the premises of the 2001 film The Devil Made Me Do It.
Yeah.
The Discovery Paranormal series, a haunting producer episodes where demons dwell, which is based on David's possession and the Warrens' investigations.
I'm going to watch that one.
All right. Let's have a look. Let's have a look what the stuff coming in here. If I remember right, he wasn't too different to the film character personality-wise. It's really hard. When you read something off the screen, then look back, it's all I can see is lines going across the screen. It's really odd. No, I sort of get it. I sit now. Obviously, I do feel if we've got, I don't see why the priests haven't come forward. That would be a bit odd. But you know, for the case of continuity, I think they should have come forward. That's not. I don't know if that's necessarily an unheard of thing.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't quite know why. I just feel that without this backing of the demon possession side of thing, that his case would have definitely got longer.
I don't think. He got 20 years. He got 20 years because the judge did not take that into account. So in a court of law, In a
then-
court of law, that wasn't taken into account.
No, but
He-
he got let out after that.
Yeah, but that's not the law.
Yeah, but no, but if there was, and I think there could have been, obviously there would have been, what do they call it when they go again? What's Charles Bronson going through now, things like that. Parole hearings. If
But that wouldn't have made it. Yeah, but then okay, perhaps he did get out of 5 years because that's the sort of person he was. Because if that's what I'm saying, if he was the sort of person that was portrayed in the film, and I don't know because that's all I've seen, then I would say he was more like a gentle giant than anything. It was out the way it was portrayed. It was out of character. He wasn't that sort of guy. He wasn't that sort of person. But I've only seen the film. I haven't seen.
we don't know the actual sort of.
But judging it on that film, and I do believe quite a lot in the Warrens. I know they've been picked apart afterwards, but then they're not there to defend themselves now, are they? So you could pull them apart all you wanted because they're not there to.
She only left us. She only left this planet a couple of years ago, didn't she?
Yeah, but but I don't know when she died actually. Anybody know in the chat when Lorraine Warren passed?
I am just finding out. 2019.
Yeah, so
Lorraine Warren passed.
Yeah, so 4 years.
And Ed in 2006.
Yeah.
He was 79 and Lorraine was 92.
Wow.
When she passed. And I still think she was pretty active right up until the last sort of.
Yeah.
Sort of her last sort of knock-ins. A really good book is The Demonologist by Ed and Lorraine Warren. Really good book. Well worth it. It's got all their cases, all their sort of hard cases, and really, really good reads as well.
Is the museum still going, or is that closed?
It's.
I know the son-in-law's Tony's got it because we've had him on the show.
Yeah. When we spoke to him last, the local residents closed it down because it wasn't. But I do still believe that is what he left us with when he was speaking to us was.
He was
trying to move it to a location that these objects could be seen. But there's been things on the social medias, TikTok, YouTube, things like that, that would be they was doing some repairs on the Annabelle doll.
Yeah.
In recent.
There was a lot. There was a lot he actually took in. He was a collector, wasn't he? Ed collected it all.
The Occult Museum, the addition to investigations, Lorraine run the Warrens Occult Museum, now closed in the back of her house in Connecticut. With the help of her son-in-law Tony, the museum displayed many claimed haunted objects and artifacts from around the world. Many of the artifacts from there, most famously investigated, feature.
Yeah.
The museum is currently owned by Judy Warren and Tony Sapira. So I know they've still got it.
Hopefully they can get it open.
Yeah. Yeah, but I know there was a lot of things that was sort of causing that.
Yeah.
I know they've got a brick in there from Baldy Rectory, haven't they?
Yeah. They've got loads of stuff in there. Right? They must have had thousands of cases, I would imagine, or hundreds of cases, I would say.
Oh, easy.
Hundreds of cases.
Easy, a lot of cases. But no, I think there's a lot to, pick apart here. I really do think you're going from...
Yeah, but don't you think that's like every one of their stories? Like, or any story you come across like that, there's always going to be that. There's always going to be two sides to it.
Yeah, but I don't know of really... because we live in such a different world nowadays, I don't know if this would actually happen now. I don't think we would be allowed not to. You know, we have all these things that are going on. We've got this, that, and the other. We can't say this, or we can't say that. We've got to be known as this. We've got to be known as that.
So what do you think? What do you think they would do nowadays then?
I think they would have to look into it.
Do you know what? I disagree with you there. I think it would be swept under the carpet. I think it would be hidden. I do now think it would be hidden.
Yeah, but so there's certain things now that you couldn't hide. Say if you went on a killing spree, murdered 10 people,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
right, and then you stood there and say I'm possessed by the devil.
Yeah.
You know, and you've got all this evidence to back it up. I don't think in nowadays, where we stand in this weird society, that they could say no to that, because someone that will offend someone somewhere.
Yeah. So now, okay, so if you had a child that in that situation of what we've just spoken about, possible demonic possession, what would you think would happen nowadays?
What, to start off with?
Yeah. So little whatever his name was.
Yeah, I get it. I think we would go down a lot of avenues.
Yeah.
I think that, you know, we know that, I say we know, we can very much tie in depression, anxiety.
So it'd be just labelled under something else now.
But that's what, yeah. But this is what I'm saying. But if you start using the terminology, I'm possessed, and say if you did have the church involved or the Vatican involved, you know, I know there's that new film out at the moment that I really want to go and see, the Pope's Exorcist. It's based on real accounts, so to speak. It's got Russell Crowe in it, based on the actual Pope's real life exorcist. So for me, I think that is quite beneficial. You know, so I do think that.
Hello? Can anybody still see Russ? Can anybody still see me? Hello?
Hello there, guys. How is I'm back. I do apologise.
Hello?
Yeah, did it kick you out as well?
Yeah. I'm back now, though.
Yeah.
I think.
They all saw you. They all saw you. Can see you. Can see you. Can see you. Not Russ.
Oh, well, then I went.
All right. So we should be back, guys. We should be back.
Can you see us both?
Yeah. They can see you. Yeah. Yes. Both back. Both back. We had terrible trouble last.
I think Russ has gone again. Can you still see me? He probably hasn't paid the internet bill. You're probably right. So Russ has gone again. Don't know what this is. It's hold on. I'm going to try. What I try and do. Oh, no, he's come back. Hello.
Yeah. It's a StreamYard issue. Okay. It's a StreamYard issue, guys. It's not. It was absolutely horrendous last night as well. So I'm just hoping that
Ghost in the machine.
there's definitely something There's definitely something in the machine. I do apologise, guys. As I was saying, hopefully that we'll get some, it doesn't happen. So please just bear with us, guys. I don't know if anyone was watching the Journey page last night, but we was having terrible difficulty with the same sort of issues. It kept kicking me out, and I had to keep loading back in. Paul managed to stay live on screen, but for some strange reason, it just kept kicking myself out. So hopefully, I'm hopefully it will stay. If it does, we'll just keep going until it doesn't allow me to go back in. Is all I just say. So I just stay there till I re-enter, unless I call you.
Okay, mate.
But no. So we were saying if this happened now, that they would put it on to something. I am totally with you.
They'd label it as something. They would label it as something else because, or it would be covered up. If you had, what was it? Was he 12, 9? A 9 or a 12-year-old boy growling and contorting in a bed, then, and you had an exorcist, would you still get an exorcist come out? Would you still get a priest come out? I don't know.
Well,
I really don't know.
The Vatican still do it. The Vatican still do it. The Vatican has still got. So, hi, Flugelbinder, Phil. Welcome to the show. So thank you for everybody that has just stayed with us through the little bit of technical issues. If it does go again, I do apologise. All right, I do apologise. There is not much I can do about it. I have got emails currently as a thing over at StreamYard, but hopefully it will stay with us just for a moment. But no, I do get what you're saying. I think they will cover it up. But I think if someone was that adamant nowadays, and if I don't think they would have a chance not to now. I think this would be.
See, this is my point. I think, in some respects, we've gone backwards. I think more's hidden now than it was then. I think a lot more will be covered up now. I don't think that'd be published in the paper. I don't know as if you'd see it in the, look what you used to have in the 80s. You had the Enfield, didn't you? You had this one. You had the Conjuring, the one in America. You had loads of them. Now you don't.
Yeah, but it's now just common knowledge, isn't it? It's just common. It's just a common. It's not a fad anymore. The paranormal's not a fad anymore. Back in the 80s, it was. It was not heard of, was it? You turn on your TV tonight, and on at least 3 channels, it'll be ghost hunting night.
Yeah. I suppose so. Yeah, I suppose so. But
it's not uncommon. Every program that we watch on TV now is going along the demonic side. It goes along that demonic side. The name, the devil, the demonic possession side of things, is a common. We look at Zach Bagans or whatever his name is.
Yeah, but
he gets possessed every bloody week.
Only though, when you get it for entertainment purposes only, you don't see people contorting in a bed and levitating. And we still know that goes on. It does go on.
Yeah, but you've only got to go through YouTube for that.
Yeah,
but I just think that's hidden because of the scare factor on telly. I think because obviously it's on at 9 o'clock at night. The children are still up. I know they can search it, but you've only got to search through YouTube and look at. I think if you remember when we went on the Broads and we watched an episode of Ghost Hunters, and there was that gentleman that was being possessed.
Yeah,
and if I don't know if Joe remembers that, but I know Joe got quite freaked out about watching that episode. I mean, it sort of made him. It doesn't like it. He didn't like it. But that's normal. That's their program. That's what I'm saying is that okay,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not so sure that.
I think we wouldn't be able to. I don't think we would have to not get away with it now because of how everything has to. You know, we can't say no because it doesn't exist because of what is going on.
Maybe, but I don't know.
Uh,
I think more will probably be hidden nowadays.
well, I
Oh,
say, you know, we get, you know, we get murders every day of the
oh
week.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
We do. Yes.
but 9 times out of they're just nut jobs. For what that's what
Or
they're
it's gang
called.
warfare. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah. But what's to say one of them isn't possessed? They just don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what I would be saying on it. You know, so that's how I would.
Oh, that. Oh, he's gone again now. Yeah. So, I don't know what your views are whilst we're waiting for Russ to come back, but it is an interesting subject, and I will watch the documentary now. So I think we've lost Russ again. Don't know. He might be back.
I'm
Here he
here.
comes. All
I do
right.
apologise, guys. It's just I can't not stop it at this present time. I do apologise. I really do apologise. But no, it's an interesting. It's definitely an interesting because you know we haven't heard. I don't know of any more demonic killings.
No, it's one of a kind, but I'm sure if we strolled the internet, we probably would.
Yeah,
Definitely. But no, it was just something that caught my mind at the beginning, that interested me at the beginning of the week, and I think it was, you know.
Phil has put for me today. There isn't the same fear of religion in a supernatural sense that there has been historically.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
You know, yeah, I totally, and that, but I think that's just because of, you know, the likes of TV, the likes of it being put on you know, every 5 minutes. I think Nat has put. I think people are a bit desensitized to it all now, as you get loads of TV shows and YouTube where you can see so much fake stuff as well. It doesn't quite have the shock factor anymore.
Does anybody watch that stuff on TikTok? It really makes me laugh. The fact that the people.
Oh, smudge doggy
Yeah,
or something.
it's so
Smudge puppy or something. It's the worst. It's the worst thing in the world. But
It's brilliant.
it is just
That's
pure
brilliant.
comic genius to think they're actually. I don't know if they think they're actually getting away with it because the editing is so poor at some point.
Do you
I think
see
it's
the
called-
shadows? As you can see somebody looking around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's called Smudge Puppy or something.
If you haven't watched it, just have a look because you'll have a good laugh.
I'm sure it's called Smudge Puppy or something. Someone will tell me. Smug
That's
Puppy.
cracking.
Smug Puppy, it's called, and it is just the worst. Well, if they do think people think this is generally happening, then they've got serious issues. But at the end of the day, they're getting the followers and they're getting money for it, so they'll just carry on doing exactly what they're doing. But no, I do see that where both sides are coming from. All right, I do see where both sides are coming from.
Yeah.
And I feel that he would have served longer without the demonic side of things. He could have made he if he's going to parole, they have to prove to themselves that they're not, you know, they're not possessed anymore. I think that would be quite easy to do. I think you could quite easily, if he's flipped.
Do you think though that the girlfriend would have stuck by him and they would have been married and now they're still together? Do you think? Do you know if he was that sort of evil person that was going to go and kill somebody, he would live the facade for how long now?
No, but it's not that fact. It was the fact of why he killed that person.
Well, we don't know.
Well, you do. I told you. He was holding his sister hostage. Bono
Yeah,
was
but-
holding his sister hostage.
Yeah,
or his
but-
cousin's sister hostage.
Or he could have been possessed. We don't know. He could have been possessed by a demonic force. We don't know.
Yeah, he could have. But I still think that if you're holding a family member hostage, there's definitely a thought process that is totally different to any other thought process. Not to say that I would go and not to say that I would go and stab anyone if someone was holding one of my family members hostage, but I wouldn't go in there nice and placid if my family member was being held hostage. I'm not going to go in there, oh, please let him go. No, I'll just let him go, mate. I'm not doing that. If it's already said he's intoxicated. He was intoxicated, and this is not David. This was Bono, the hostage, the bloke who was holding his sister Wanda hostage, was agitated and intoxicated. So if someone's agitated, as soon as you have that bit of confrontation, they're going to wind you straight up because they're not going to go.
I would be the defence for this bloke, and you would be the prosecution there.
Yeah, because, but not just no. It's not. No, that's not what I'm saying. Is that whatever if he was possessed, then he's got away with it. But whatever the case is, that if he's holding a 9-year-old child hostage,
he wasn't. Not
No.
the bloke possessed.
Bono was.
Yeah, the bloke
Dead.
Yeah,
The bloke
Yes.
that's dead was holding a 9-year-old hostage.
yeah.
Now, whatever the case will be, we don't quite know what was going on at that point. I don't quite know why you'd be holding a 9-year-old hostage, for a start. So something else has definitely gone on. And if there was wrongdoing to a 9-year-old child, then whatever has happened to Bono has had his just desserts. Either way you look at it. I'm not on the side of Bono here. I'm on the side of
You're on the side
David.
of anybody, but you're saying you're putting the argument that a prosecutor would have put at the same case that it's not a demonic possession, and I'm saying that I'd like to know more about it before I drew that conclusion.
And
I would like to know before I drew any conclusion. I'd like to read and look into it a lot more before I made any sort of conclusion, because I couldn't.
I just think
I've seen a film and I couldn't draw that conclusion.
Yeah, but you're never going to draw a conclusion from the film.
No, so I'd want to.
I'd want to speak. But how easy is it for him if he did kill somebody, and just for all intents and purposes of it, at this moment in time, when as soon as he plunged that knife, he thought, shit, I'm in the crap here. I'm going to be put down. Okay, I'm going to use this as possession. So he goes off kilter. He does all the and all that, and we get it, the contorting and all that. How easy is it to change from that, if you're doing it on purpose, to make a parole board look like that you've changed? Very simply.
I agree, but then when the demon was released from in prison, if that's depicted in the film as true or anywhere near true, then how could a priest,
But
prison wardens see this? This
no
guy was
evidence
in a bed, handcuffed,
but
contorting.
that's the cinematic version.
Yeah.
That's
That's what I'm saying.
That may never have
But
happened.
you're basing it on it couldn't have been done like that. So you're saying, oh well, it couldn't have been done like that because this is the film version. But it might have happened like that. We don't know.
I think that we would have found that out. I think that in this write-up we would have heard that.
I don't know.
Exorcist-
I think you've got to look at more documentaries and you've got to look at a lot more reading than we've just done in 10 minutes on the internet, to be honest. I think we would need.
I think that was quite a big. If that is the case, they've missed out one hell of a bit of the story. If he was exercised in prison, going by just a normal case study, the trial of Arnie Johnson, they've missed out one big bit of evidence. If that's the case, then I look at it differently. Debbie Pitt has said something doesn't ring true about the story. Yeah, but we don't really know what the story is. We've got to do a little bit of digging, and we will do a bit of digging. We will definitely look a bit of digging. It just seems if there was an exorcism done in prison, they've definitely missed that out in the main witness, the background of it all, the killing of it, the aftermath, legal proceedings. Surely that would have. There's nothing to say he was exorcised. It was all to do with David Glitzel's exorcisms. That would be my only.
Yeah, I don't know, but
if there has been an exorcism in the prison towards Arnie, then I would look at it differently. But going on the case that he's put in front of me, and if that's not being told, then I don't quite know why they would have left that out. Because then, if there was an exorcism in the prison, that would reiterate my case that the parole board would have adjudicated that he was possessed, and that's why he would have got out early.
don't know. But anyway,
That is where I would draw my sense and a sensibility on it.
yeah,
You know, I can't fake an exorcism. I don't know if the body contorts in ways that have always happened.
I don't know. I've never.
But who knows? I'll probably do a bit of digging after the show to see really what.
See if we can get Kim to get him on the show.
Yeah.
We can put the question to him. I'd like to put the questions to him, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just a
weird case. It is.
Yeah, it is definitely a weird case, and it seems to be a case that is very much stands out on its own as well.
Yeah.
So if I'm going to ask, we've got people in the chat that are watching. Let's see if just out of curiosity, just put if he was possessed or not possessed. Let's just see. There's no wrong or right answer to this, because I'm going to sit bang right on the fence with it and say I'm not too sure. Really, I'm with Deborah, that says I'm not too sure. But if you just put in the chat if it's possessed, if you feel it was a possession killing, just put possession, or you just put murder if you just thought it was just cold-hearted murder.
Yeah.
All right, and then let's just see what a generic sort of mixed sort of thing that we do. A little see what people is. No one can sit on the leave it. It's trying. Mickey has joined us in the chat. Evening, Mickey. Welcome to the show. We're just talking demonic possessions, really, and murder in demonic possessions. I know that Mickey deals a lot with the Bible over the last sort of few months. His Facebook page gives us messages of hope and guidance through the words of the Bible. So it'd be interesting to see what Mickey's take is of a demonic possession. Does he believe it? Does he does not believe it? So, yeah, pop in the chat, guys. Really be good if you could pop in the chat if you think this was a possession or a non-possession. All right? People have been very quiet in the chat tonight.
Yeah,
I know there's a delay.
Yeah, they've left it there. Look, they don't want to commit.
Yeah, they don't want. They don't want to put. They don't want to put what it is. They're all sitting on the fence.
Be brave. Be brave.
Yeah,
Be the first.
yeah. Or text me if you don't want to put your. If you don't want to put your name on that. Debbie's put murder. I believe it, mate. Demonic, satanic.
Yeah. So 1-1.
Yeah, but Mickey don't know what we're talking about. He's only just come in at 9:12.
Okay.
So, possession. Do you actually? What is it? Do you believe that it is the devil, as in we portray the devil? You know, I'm going for murder. Natalie's going for murder. So, for all intents and purposes, I've got two. I'm 2-0 up at the moment, Si, because even though I sat on the fence, not sure if it was. I wonder if there was bowel conditions. 125,000 that was stated in as bowel position. Bowel. That was in the case study, I do believe. Let me just recheck that.
Not to publicise it though. Bowel conditions, not to publicise it. That's different. Okay, yeah. So it's 125,000 to get out on bail, but then you also have other conditions there, like you can't go there, and you yeah. So do you?
Doesn't say.
Vicky, do you believe that a man can commit murder through demonic possession?
Who are you talking to? Sorry,
question we're going along. Huh?
Vicky.
Mickey.
Sorry. Not sure if I wonder if there was a bowel condition not to publicise it and bring it to attention to
Thank you.
Going by what I've know roughly what this story, the Warrens brought it very much to the forefront of the media. So there was no what do they call it?
Yeah, but that wouldn't be his bowel conditions. That would not be his bowel conditions. The Warrens were acting as defence.
Yeah, but I don't think
There's nothing to do with his bowel conditions. The Warrens would have been his defence, so they would have tried everything to defend him.
I was wondering if there was bowel conditions not to publicise it and bring it to attention to the prison or other potentially trying to say the same things. I don't think they could do that. I don't know. Defeat the purpose of it. But I get what you're saying. Sorry, I caught the late. Can tell me the offender's name of the film.
We're talking about The Conjuring. The Devil Made Me Do It. It was Arnie Johnson. I don't know. Have a look at Arnie Johnson. Is Kim replying to Flugelbinder?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Trial of Arnie Shanae Johnson. It's very much, I do see this.
Yeah. I do think.
Yeah, Facebook's chuck it. Well, we don't mention that word on the show at the moment. Yes, I do. I do see it, but I see it a tiny bit different. See, one of my beliefs, my opinions, whatever you choose to see it, is that depression, anxiety, I think, is a very linked to the demonic side of things. I do believe that when we're depressed, when we are down, we're our weakest, I think we are giving that side of things, evil, a chance to come within us.
But what we can't argue in this case, what you cannot argue in this case, depression, anxiety, whatever, you can't argue in this case that this Arnie went over a 12-year-old boy and asked the devil to enter him and leave the boy alone. We can't argue that.
And I would absolutely agree with you. And that is my whole point. You just saying that would, in the defence, would go, well, if you're holding a 9-year-old hostage, if you're willing to take a devil into you, you'd willingly kill someone to release that person. You would do anything to keep that child safe. And it was done on self-defence. That's where I would go with that. I think you're 100% right, because what he did for the child in the calling this devil upon himself is a noble thing to do.
No, I'm not saying it's a noble thing. I'm saying if you've got a priest there, I think it's a stupid thing to do. But that's what he decided to do, because they decided to take it in turns to look after that child. Yeah. So when he saw that boy contorting whatever he was doing, he went over him and took the devil into him. Now, that's the crux of it. What he went on to do after that.
But then that would be my basis of why he did it for a 9-year-old later. He would do anything to help children. He doesn't like the fear.
I don't think. No, I'm not sure there. I'm not sure there.
He's doing everything to do to keep a child safe. I don't see if it's taking on the devil. Who wants to see a child contorting? You would do anything to take that away from you. Yeah, exactly. But any human, I wouldn't. If I don't care I don't care who you are. If it was just a close relative of mine and I saw a child contorting like that, I would do anything. If it said, I would say, give it to me. I'd say, I don't care if there's a priest sitting in the room. I don't care if there's a holy God sitting in the room. If I have the ability to save that child, I am. That's me.
Yeah, but I think that's all of us.
And that's what I'm saying. If he's seen a 9-year-old child...
what I'm saying is... No, you're not getting what... Okay, yeah, all right, leave it. You're not getting what I'm saying.
See, I just think... and this is what I'm saying. He would do anything to help. He doesn't like to see children in harm. Doesn't like to see that. So if there's a 9-year-old child being held hostage...
more judgment, I think I'd rather watch documentaries and get a little bit more on it, because I think what you've read there is not quite right. But let me check it out. Let me check it out for a future show.
I'm just going on, obviously, his book. Quotations from his book.
You've not read all the book. You've read a snippet, because you couldn't have read the whole book in the show.
No. I'm just reading quotations.
Yeah.
Just reading quotations from the book of his book.
Yeah.
There's quotations. It says his book is called diddly do. A man convicted of a friend's death.
Okay. Kim, let's get him on the show. Then we can put these points to him.
Yeah, but would he answer it?
I don't know.
Would he answer it?
Don't know, mate. If he's got nothing to hide, then probably, yeah.
If I said to him, I don't think you were possessed, but I think you were saving a child's life, and you murdered that man, because that's how I think that his mind works. I don't think his mind works, puts children, young adolescents first. That's how my mind thinks of this man. I think he's quite a generous, nice man. It doesn't matter. He's got a thing with people hurting children. That's what my mind goes to. And that's what I'd say to him.
Right. Well, we'll see what
let's have a look. We've got loads of questions coming in now. Debbie said, I believe you can murder in a demonic state, but not this story. Mickey says, I agree with depression, anxiety, mate. It gives the devil powers.
Yeah.
I think it's a strong sign of the demonic is we don't know his backstory at this point. Natalie has put, I do believe in demonic possession, but I think people can get to the point of such a bad mental state that even they think and act like they are possessed.
Yeah, good point.
And that's, I think this is one of these, this bit here fits perfectly with our case. I think that fits perfectly with this case. In a way, it's for bad energy. I agree, Russ. It's gone on. I don't know what you agreed with, but thank you, Mickey. I think he had history before. This wasn't when he just switched suddenly. The devil made him bad. They put it to him that the child and the devil was an excuse for what he did.
Maybe, yeah, maybe.
He wrote a bloody book.
Why not talk about it? Yeah, good point. He probably wants to sell his book, so
yeah, because I think he's me personally. I think he's used the word demonic possession to exercise his quicker bit through jail, and I don't think he would do an interview because
it'd be good to see.
It'd be great to see. Unless you're crossing this gentleman's palm with gold, I don't think he would do it out of faith, so to speak.
Got no gold, Kim.
But yeah, I do think there's definitely a fine line for this case. The one thing I will say is that I do believe that the child, whatever his name was, David, even though he's come out and said now he doesn't think he was possessed, but what would he know at 11 years? Well, he would know at 11-year-old, wouldn't he?
I think so, but then
I don't know what,
Why would you have a priest? Why would you have the Warrens before?
Yeah.
Why would you have all that?
Yeah.
It was the Warrens didn't go there till they were called in.
Yeah.
So you can't blame the Warrens for it because they were called in. There was 2 priests, I think, before that went in and couldn't get rid of it, or said they got rid of it, but obviously hadn't. So there's got to be something there before any of this.
And that all these events were documented in a book, The Devil in Connecticut, by Gerald Brittle. Okay?
He's dead then, or Derek?
Brittle.
I'm not Wetzel.
No, Brittle.
Okay.
Brittle. Brittle.
Okay.
So, obviously there's I'm assuming now, I don't know if you could probably get the case file of this. I don't know if it would be under a Freedom of Information Act now, that you could probably get this case file. But it's definitely it's a fascinating story. I think a lot of people in the chat, how the demonic work. We all sort of sit, not to say that it just happens via that method, but I think that when we get to these low states of consciousness, when we go through our times of loneliness and dark times, and that could be anything from just depression, anxiety, panic, worry, alcoholism, drugs addiction. When we're time of vulnerable, I think that could potentially be the door, and it just comes ajar for a couple of minutes. And if we go with what potentially that we're led to believe, that the dark, the demonic side of things offers a way out. It makes things a little bit nicer and rosy for you at this present time. What can it offer you? What can it do for you? Does it make you feel good? And if we take the bait, we don't know. We don't know what that side of things can cause. Is it a thing that just overnight that happens, or is it something that happens and has to grow within you? Does it take years for this energy to sort of fully take effect? I generally don't know. It's a hard one to gauge, but in my belief system, in my belief system. It's only my opinion of it. I've got no evidence of it, but I've always felt that when possessions happen, it's over a period of time that this thing grows, and I think it hides within you. I think it keeps itself in the dark. I don't think it all guns blazing at that moment in time. I think it allows you to sort of, it manifests within you somewhere and just sits there quietly watching you go along.
I get that. I get what you're saying there, yeah? But why pick on that David then? There must have been something in his life for that to be able to pick on that child. Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So then really you've got to look at that, haven't you?
Yeah,
because
to be fair with children, I do think it may be a bit different. I'm talking of an adult sense here.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is why just that one child? Why pick on Joe Bloggs? Not. Do you get? See what I'm saying is there must be something either in the family that would encourage that in, surely.
What's to say it wasn't with David in the first place? Arnie in the first place.
Yeah, or a family member. You know, there's got to be something that lets that in. There's got to be.
Lets it in, or is it because a child is so open at that age?
Yeah, but then you'd have thousands of children like it, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just have.
Yeah, but you don't. So, we're not to quote it, but there's a theory within the paranormal world that it only happens up to the age of 12 in any child. So as soon as they get to 12, that's when their adolescence, is that the adult brain starts to override that childlike brain. So around that 12 years of age, they stop talking to their imaginary friends, and things like that. So, is what I'm saying is, if this potentially this, let's use the name, let's use this 11-year-old David Glitzer. We're now on that borderline of what the demonic don't like over 12 years of age, or coming up to that 12 years of age. So does it have to now show itself? This is only a theory. It's only a theory.
I don't know, but that's what I'm saying. Would we not have this in a lot more families? That's my whole point.
Yeah, but we do. How many? How many? Yeah, I think you do. I think you have a lot of children with night terrors, being woke up, talking to things on the hall, talking to their toys, crying at night, staring at things. It all depends, I feel, is how strong their soul or their spirit is within them. And I think that's what it gets. If it doesn't not exercise, because that's the wrong word, but maybe we're born with a demon inside us. Maybe we're born with good and evil because it's a balance. And when we get to a certain age, we decide where we take it. I don't know. That's just theory that's just popped into my head. I talk about balance. So maybe we are born with good and evil within us. And
I don't know.
You think, how many times do you see, young people taking a life, gang related or murders? And, I think, the shooting in America that, a couple of months ago, was done by an 18-year-old woman, to shoot, maybe that is that demon exercising itself. Maybe that person took it on. Who knows? Yes, Josh was bitten and even had a bite mark. We speak to the same spirits now. You don't know. James, I have night terrors every night. Night terrors are horrible things.
It's all right. I know, Jimmy T. You should stop drinking then, mate.
there could be a lot of things that, we don't know what goes on in adolescence, because say we don't really remember it. I remember some of it.
I'd remember it if it was 11, 12. I'd definitely remember 11, 12. 100%. 5 or 6 I wouldn't, but
That's what I'm saying. They do say at 12 it all changes.
maybe,
It all,
mate.
you come into your sort of more of an adult sort of brain.
Still think there could be something. Yeah. I still
think that
there's a door open for it. There's a door open for it as well.
Oh, easy. I think you can invite it.
Not
I don't
think an 11 or 12-year-old child would invite it, but I don't.
Yeah, but it all depends what sort of an invitation.
Yeah,
there is. I don't think it's we send off an invitation and expect an an RSVP to the devil, but you don't. I suppose we don't know what is that link between the good and the bad.
No,
we don't know what that potential is, but is what we can categorically say is that it does exist. We've got a lot of people in the chat here. We've got Natalie, we've got Deborah, we've got Nikki, that all believe, Kim, that all believe that there is a real dark side of it. So how that it comes to provision, who knows? I generally don't know, but it's definitely there.
Oh yeah, I think it is. Oh yeah, he's gone again there. Well, that lasted better, didn't it? Because that lasted about 40 minutes. Hi, Janice. Hopefully Russ will get back, but you never know. So that discussion, that was just about a film that I saw this week. So if anybody hasn't seen it, it's well worth a watch, actually. The devil made me do it.
Hey.
Russ,
I'm here.
He's coming back. Hello, mate. That lasted quite a long time, didn't it? That was the break.
Janice, please message. Hi, Janice.
Janice, please message. Janice, hi.
Hi there, Janice. I have.
I said about the film that I saw. Yeah.
Oh,
Heidi,
sorry.
It's a good watch. Heidi, it's a good watch. Now I've got to see the documentary.
Yes, I think that's the key to it. I think that's one of the keys to it. If he's actually on there, I don't know if Steph's still in the chat. Steph, is he actually interviewed? That'd be my question. Is he interviewed? Do you actually speak to him, or is it a documentary by other documenters about the case? No one, Kim. No one. No one. I know that I've been having terrible trouble trying to do the update on my computer, so there could be a chance that it is linked to that as well. But you know what? We're trying. We've only got about 20 minutes left anyway, so
we're not doing bad, actually. We're not doing bad.
We haven't done as bad as I thought this would be tonight after last night when it was just every 30 seconds that it was going off.
That's because we asked good spirit to help tonight. You had ETs trying to help you last night.
Well, I was asking I didn't even mention, the dreaded Joe Biden last night, and that never, perhaps that's what it is. Perhaps he was watching and was getting the ump that I weren't, moaning at him. But no, as we've seen, guys, that we can have a little bit, because we're into the sort of card, please. I beg your pardon, Janice? Sorry, Janice. I don't know what you. I don't know quite. I haven't got no cards. Message. I don't understand. Sorry, I don't. I don't. But if, as we say, we've got the last 20 minutes. We're open to questions. The last 20 minutes is going to be questions. If you've got anything that you want to ask, if you've got
Go for
anything that, go for it, guys. Go for it. Kev's in the chat. Hello, I didn't see that. Sorry, Kev. I do apologise. I didn't see that first up. It's because it's probably in and out. I just don't see it. But no, please, if you've got any questions that, I say I can't, I've got an opinion on them. We've got an opinion on them, but I don't quite, I've got no real. Janice is not doing card readings tonight. This is the Paranormal Radio Show. Oh, okay. I didn't even. I was over my head. Sorry, Janice, I'm not doing readings tonight. So you must have listened in previous shows when I was doing these shows. Has anyone?
Good question. Yes, we have had, but it wasn't a possession. It wasn't. Remember when we went out?
Yeah, we've had a couple that I think a lot of people believe, because obviously the Hollywood effect, Nat, then everything is a possession.
Yeah, and they get a bit of bad luck and they think that that's why it's happening. And 9 times out of 10 it isn't. And then you go along, you say, we find the cause of it. And touch wood, we've never had anybody come back to us and say, it hasn't worked, or whatever you've done didn't work. It seems they've gone back to normal. So possession, yeah.
We've the closest thing that, remember when we went to Canvey and I got dragged along the pier bit by the gate.
Yeah.
Not to say that was possession, but that was as close as physically that I've never been.
I think probably the one that we have forgotten, and she won't mind us mention. I think the possession that we have seen was Pauline Herbert. In the prison. That was possession.
I don't think it was by the devil.
No, it was.
It was definitely.
That was by a spirit that wanted to get out of that prison in any way.
Definitely. That, totally with you on that one. And that was really freaky.
Yes,
that was really, really freaky.
She walked to Hull Prison, and if you've been to Shepton Mallet Prison, that's one hell of a walk for somebody on their own trying to get to a front gate of the prison. You just can't do it. But she did.
Yeah. It would say if it wasn't for the night watch lady of Shepton, she would have walked out. But at the beginning of the night, the lady went to us, we don't open that door unless you or Simon or one of the 4 people that we put on the bit of paper to say that they will open that door.
Yeah.
So we was very lucky that door never got open, because she would have gone home.
Well, I don't know where she would have gone. Well, she wouldn't have gone home. She'd have gone to the home of the spirit. And that could have been anywhere.
Yeah, could have been anywhere. It was quite intimidating.
Yeah.
So that was that. Let's have a look. So if someone gets possessed by a really nasty spirit at an event, how do you manage it? Do you help the spirit or get them to leave the person?
I did it at the bunker. It wasn't a possession, but it was an attachment, and it attached to one of the girls in our group, and then it decided that it was hiding. I don't know what the hell it was, but it was hiding, and I told it to leave this girl, and it then went into another person. So I had to identify where it had gone, and then I got it to attach itself to an object, and then I'll give it to Rust. Like that.
Was that the rock or was that the bolt?
That was the bolt.
And there you go. I can show you the bolt which is in my little pot, and there is one bolt. Okay, there's one bolt. So I'll use, obviously I was the first team member to get to Pauline, and I knew something wasn't right because, lucky enough, Pauline is a regular guest, and so I knew where of the area that she lived, and I said, Pauline, she said, I want to go home. So I said, okay, Pauline, where's home? Just around the corner. And as soon as she said that, I knew that we was in dodgy territory, because I knew Pauline lived in Essex and we're up in Shepton
Bristol.
Mallet. Yeah. So it wasn't just around the corner. It's a bloody big corner. So we sort of brought Pauline back to her normal size state. She just wanted to go. She didn't want to be there. But then at this point, you have to sort of manage the situation. So we just allowed all the guests to sort of carry on for a little bit, and I just sat with Pauline until we calmed her back down. And what I did is I asked the other team members where this happened, and they all told me what's else. So I took every single member of that group. There wasn't one member of the group that was sitting out, because I didn't want it to attach anywhere else. So we all walked it back to this last cell that Pauline sat in. And then I went into the cell with Pauline, and I got Sandra to stand on the door of the cell. And we just give the spirit an ultimatum. I said, you step out of Pauline normally, or I drag you out of Pauline normally. And we just sat there for a couple of minutes. We sat there, and it didn't leave. So we just got a little bit vicious with it. And then we just did a little bit of, spirit work to eject it. And then as soon as I felt the energy was with me, I then got Sandra to step between myself and Pauline, and then we pulled Pauline out of the cell, and then I kicked it back in the cell, and then we just asked spirit to keep it there until we all leave. And then is what we do is we send it with love.
Yeah.
We just said a little prayer. When we say a prayer, we just offered it a little bit of a word of hope. And we said, look, you was judged for what you did there and then. I'm not here to judge you for what you did. I can't judge you for what you do and what you did. I'm not going to give you what you want. I'm not going to say that you're free. I'm not going to say that you're not guilty, because I don't know your case. How can I do that? I'm not your judge and jury. You've had your time with judge and jury. And then that spirit was quite happy and understood, and it stayed there. And Pauline carried on her night quite happily.
Took her a while to get over, actually.
Yeah, but
You speak to her now.
Yeah, but it was more the fact is that I think it was the fact of what could have happened.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
If no one's been to Shepton, if you haven't been to Shepton Mallet, you just don't know how big it is.
Yeah.
And
Go
to
to
walk-
Shepton Mallet if you've never been
Yeah.
to Shepton. It's a great place to be.
So let's just go. Got another question. Hi. The more ghost hunts I do, the more I become a skeptic, as I don't feel or see anything. Do you think I am blocking myself, or I'm just trying to protect my friends I am with, or just trying to protect my friends? Bit of both.
Karen, have you ever seen anything? First question I've got back to you. Did you used to see anything? Have you ever seen anything? If not,
I do. Is this Karen? Do we know Karen? I think Karen comes with Phil's group.
do you
Please.
come with Phil? Karen, do you come with Phil's group? So you've never seen anything?
I'm just. Yes. Hi. Yes. I thought I knew the name. So I'm with you. Yeah, so the more I become a skeptic, I don't think there's anything wrong with what that you're saying. The more I believe that without people that are skeptic, this doesn't work. Okay, so I don't feel or see anything. Do you think I'm blocking myself? Or I'm just trying to protect my friends I'm with.
Do you believe in protection spirits and that sort of thing, Karen? So, would you call on your guides to protect you and your friends when you go to an event?
We'll just wait for that. We know there's a delay that is coming through. I know Karen is the bit of the prodder when it comes to her friend. No, not really.
Okay.
Bit of the prodder when her friend goes into trance. She loves to wind that side of things up. No, I think there is a part of you that may block yourself. I think we're all part and parcel of that. But on the other hand, is sometimes that we try too hard.
Yes.
To want to see. Instead of going out there and turning up and just expecting nothing, the more you stand there and go, I really want to see something. I really want. You're still blocking that because of the want of the block. You know, because Claire gets taken over, I protect everyone else.
Right, so you do protect then. See?
Yeah.
It's protection. So either consciously or unconsciously, you're doing that protection. So next time you come to an event, which one you coming to next, Karen?
I think the boat.
You coming to the boat?
I think so. I think they're booked on the boat, if I remember rightly.
Because what we do is we try it a different way.
Don't worry, I'll get you possessed.
Completely off.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. We'll see at the boat. We'll see if it works.
Yeah, I know what one Karen is, so you know, we'll work with you. Work with us. Just ask us. Really, you know, ask to be picked on.
Yeah.
Ask to be picked on. Okay, up for that.
Good, good.
Ask to be picked on. But don't worry about the skeptic side of things. I really wouldn't, because you have a far better balance than someone sometimes who believes in it all. And when something does happen to you, you can have that ability to then question what has happened.
Yeah.
And I think that will be more beneficial for you than being full in believing. All right. So, right, guys, we are sort of coming towards the end of the show. I do apologise for everything that has been kicking on and off all night, but we've managed to do a pretty decent show without it affecting too much. So I want to say, sorry, Simon. You look like you were going to say something.
I think Craig asked the question right back at.
Yeah, he's texted me.
All right.
He's texted me, so
I'll
go back to him.
And we need to really say, I don't think they're listening, but happy birthday, Jay. You were never going to get away with that. I know you had it Wednesday, but happy birthday, mate.
Yeah, I haven't seen.
No, I haven't.
Mazzy's question come up. So, but no, thank you for everybody has joined us tonight. It's been an interesting chat. I think we will do a little bit more digging for you. We won't necessarily touch on it fully next week, but we can all just revisit it just quickly to see if there is more evidence that has come back. To see if, I think there is just see what was in there, if there was bits that we have missed or overseen. So that would be good. Very interesting show tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Nat. Thank you, Deborah. Just remember, guys, I'm just going to touch on Natalie while you're here. If Natalie and Jim are the owners of the Bug Hut and the Reptile Hut at the same location that we have our Cyrus at White Elm Garden Centre in Bicknaker, CN34LR. So if you do collect spiders or anything like that, reptiles, please make sure your first port of call is to the Bug Hut or the Reptile Hut at
right.
White Elm. You know, you won't get a better service.
So knowledgeable, the pair of them, actually. So knowledgeable.
Yeah. Well, Jim is knowledgeable on useless stuff. So, but no, honestly, all jokes aside, if you go and see Jim for any sort of reptiles, from snakes, lizards, he's got them all in there, setups, all your reptile bits, lights, bulbs, food. If you know, I know he's had a full delivery of mice and rats and frozen things this week. So please make sure that if you are a collector or a hobbyist in bugs and reptiles, that is your first port of call. And as you go to see them, you can pop in and see us as well, because we are right across the way from them both. So we are the opposite side of the fence, not the fence, but the road, so to speak, the pathway. So you can visit us at White Elm Garden Centre in Essex, in Bicknaker, CM3.
Come and see us.
LR.
Yeah, please.
Just to let you know that tomorrow at some point there will be a live draw on Facebook. We have the raffle winners from our birthday weekend. A chance to win 2 tickets to our Cash's Well ghost hunt in, I think it's August, isn't it? August or July?
June the 24th rings a bell.
All right, June. I'm well out.
I might be wrong. Hold on, don't quote me on that. You know what I mean?
It's all sold out anyway, so we can't do any more tickets on that one. But that will be the winner for tonight. Claire is our friend who can let spirits come forward and also hold back. So she might, believes. She does believe slightly, so that's a good thing.
24th of June.
24th of June, summer solstice, was it? Near there? Must be the 21st.
Near it, yeah, 3 days.
21st is summer solstice. So thank you ever so much for everybody that has joined us tonight.
Yeah, brilliant.
Sorry for all the ins and outs and the backwards and forwards, but we've got us through to the show. I don't think I've got anything else to mention, have I?
I think you've done it all, mate. I think you've done it all.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We all done?
Yeah, good.
Coolio. Right, guys, we're going to say take care. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back this time next week at 8 o'clock. Take care, everybody. It's going to be an abrupt end over on Pulse Talk. I do apologise. But everybody, take care, stay safe, and we'll see you next week. Thank you for everybody that has joined us on Facebook. Stuart says, great show. See you on the ship, which thought it was July. So that was a last minute hotel booking. No, it is in 2 weeks' time.
Yes,
which
2 weeks
will be
away.
Good. 2 weeks away. So take care, everybody. Stay safe. And whoever sees us at the ship, we'll see you at the ship to welcome you aboard.